Good day, I am Angelica Jocares and I will be discussing the Contemporary World, Unit 7, Asian Regionalism. So first, let us know what is regionalism. Regionalism is a political will to create formal arrangement among states on a geographically restricted basis. Since its main participants are governments, it can be expressed as an artificial top-down process. Regionalism is a theory or a practice of regional rather than a centralized administration of economic and political affiliations. Regionalism has a goal of increasing the political power and influences within or in other regions. So instead of having a centralized government, mayroong mga designated leaders or designated heads sa bawat regions ng isang country or isang nation. Next is regionalization. What is regionalization? Regionalization is an increase in the cross-border flow of capital, goods, and people within a specific geographical area. It develops from the bottom up through societally driven processes coming from markets, private trade, and investment flows, none of which is strictly controlled by governments. Regionalization is a process of dividing an area into smaller segments. They form regionalization as a way of coping with the challenges of globalization. So we have the regionalization in Asia. Regionalization in Asia helped build bridges among countries. It is the result of the economic activities such as trade, financial transactions, investments, technologies, labor, and tourist flows that connect Asian countries together. Hindi lang economy yung na-develop ng regionalization in Asia, but it also bring countries together or regions closer together. Complemented global relationships, and it became beneficial not only to Asia but also to the world because it helped sustain the region's growth and contributed to the globalization. Hindi lang nakafocus yung regionalization sa mga regions. Kumbaga, bawat regions din ay hindi lang sa Asian countries or Asian regions nakikipag-trade but also may mga regions na nakapartner sa regions na hindi kabilang sa Asia or sa countries na hindi naman belong to Asia. That's why they also contributed in globalization. ASEAN as a model of regionalism. ASEAN is composed of Asian countries. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations or the ASEAN was established on August 8, 1967 in Bangkok, Thailand. With the signing of the ASEAN Declaration by the founding fathers of the ASEAN, namely the Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand, Brunei Darussalam, Vietnam, Laos, DPR, Myanmar, and Cambodia, making up the 10 member states of the ASEAN. So what are the aims and purposes of ASEAN? As set out in the Asian Declarations, the aims and purposes of ASEAN are: first, to accelerate the economic growth, social progress, and cultural development in the region through joint endeavors in the spirit of equality and partnership in order to strengthen the foundation for a prosperous and peaceful community of Southeast Asian nations. Though it is clear na ang purpose nitong organization is to accelerate the economic growth. Hindi lang siya doon nagfo-focus, but also it includes the social progress and cultural development of regions through joint endeavors, which means may mga nangyayaring partnerships, and it promotes spirit of equality in order to strengthen the foundation of a prosperous and of course peaceful relationship and community in the Southeast Asian nations para mapanatili din nila yung kaayusan ng flow or ng process of regionalism. To promote regional peace and stability through abiding respect for justice and the rule of law in the relationship among countries of the region and adherence to the principles of the United Nations Charter. Aim din ng ASEAN yung para ma-prolong yung respect for justice and rules and laws na nag-o-occur in the relationship among their countries. And to promote active collaboration and mutual assistance on matters of common interest in the economic, social, cultural, technical, scientific, and administrative fields. Pinopromote din nila yung mga collaboration between regions na may common interest sa economic, sa culture, sa social, or administrative fields. And then, to provide assistance to each other in the form of training and research facilities in the educational profession, technical, and administrative spheres. Tinutulungan din nila yung isa't isa or the other regions in training and research facilities. It is to strengthen the education or the profession occurring in their nations. And then to collaborate more effectively for the greater utilization of their agriculture and industries, the expansion of their trade. Ini-aim din nila na mapalawak yung utilization ng agriculture since kadalasan sa kinabubuhay ng mga tao sa Asian regions are yung pagsasaka. And then the improvement of transportation and communications facilities and the raising of the living standards of their people. So, nakafocus din siya sa living standards ng tao and living needs or sa mga kailangan ng mga citizens ng bawat regions, like transportations, other facilities. And then to promote Southeast Asian studies and to maintain close and beneficial cooperation with existing international and regional organizations with similar aims and purposes, and explore all avenues for even closer cooperation among themselves. Hindi lang nila ito binuo para ma-maintain yung kaayusan or yung mga benefits na nangyayari within their regions, but also for the existing international organizations, and of course to bring closeness within and among themselves. Asian regionalism. Regionalization and regionalism's main goal is to develop the economy of the nation. Within its goal, there are challenges that the nations must face. Lahat naman ng mga goals ay may mga challenges na kaakibat or may mga challenges na kinahaharap. What are the challenges of Asian regionalism? First, the exclusion of countries that do not belong in their region. And second, a threat to strategic partnership with countries from other regions. Hindi naman nililimitahan yung mga regions sa Asia na magkaroon ng partnership with countries or regions outside the Asia, but they seen it as a threat. Dahil ang Asian regionalism nga ay para lang sa mga Asian countries, may mga country talaga na mai-exclude dahil nga hindi sila kabilang sa Asian regions. Next is compromised financial stability that may result in a deepening credit crisis and weak currency. Yung mutual settlement of financial stability ay maaari kasing mag-result sa pagkakalubog sa utang or sa problema sa pagkakautang. Tapos lalo na kung mababa yung halaga ng salapi. And then the expensive and difficult flow of goods because of the threats on and security of a country. Yung mahal at matagal na movement ng goods ay isa din sa kinukonsider na challenges ng regionalism. And then environmental changes may result in radical changes in economic policies. How can regionalism help Asia grow as region? According to the Asian Development Bank, the Asia may be able to address these challenges of regionalism by first, linking the competitive strengths of its diverse economies to boost productivity, sustain the region's growth. So, according nga sa Asian Development Bank, maa-address daw ng Asian regionalism ang mga problems na nasasaad kanina sa pamamagitan ng una, yung iuog na yung competitive strength ng bawat regions sa iba't ibang economies or iba't ibang goods na mai-offer or needs para mag-boost ng productivity. So, i-boost yung productivity na kayang i-produce ng isang region in order to sustain the needs or the growth of regions. And then, connecting the region's capital markets to enhance financial stability, reduce the cost of capital, and improving opportunities for sharing risk. Maaari ding i-connecta nila or yung mga markets magkakakonekta pa to enhance the financial stability para na rin mabawasan yung cost of capital and of course to improve the opportunities. They share same risks, they share same opportunities. 3. Cooperating in setting exchange rates and macroeconomic policies in order to minimize the effects of global and regional shocks and to facilitate the resolution of global imbalances. Para na rin mapaghandaan or mapag-isipan ng solusyon para ma-address or ma-facilitate yung global imbalances, kinakailangan ng Asian regionalism na makipag-cooperate about sa exchange rates and macroeconomic policies. 4. Creating regional mechanisms to manage cross-border health, safety, and environment issues better. Kailangan mag-form ng regional mechanisms for safety and security para na rin ma-address yung problems sa security, sa environment, and sa flow of goods. 5. Exercising leadership in global decision-making to sustain the open global trade and financial systems that have supported a half-century of unparalleled economic development. So, kailangan ay maging magaling or maalam pagdating sa decision-making yung mamumuno para masustain yung development na kinakailangan ng isang regions or ng mga regions. Number 6, building connected infrastructure and collaborate on inclusive development to reduce inequalities within and across economies and thus strengthen support for pro-growth policies. Ni-encourage din ng Asian Development Bank na mag-create or mag-collaborate ang regions to build infrastructure na maaaring maging beneficial for both developed regions and developing regions. It is to promote the pro-growth policies among their regions. Some factors may hinder the integration of the Asian region, and these are the following. Absence of non-political platform to maintain peace and stability among countries. Dahil nga walang platform or organization na nag-exist to address the problems or issues in maintaining the peace and stabilities among countries, isa ito sa factor na naghihinder ng integration of the Asian regions. And then, lack of liberalization of trade in the region. Kawalan ng exposure or hindi liberalize yung trade sa regions ay isa din sa mga factors. And then, insufficient support to promote economic growth, social progress, and cultural development in the region. Ang kakulangan ng suporta sa iba't ibang field or aspect like resources ay nagdudulot ng weak na support or kakulangan sa strengths para ma-promote yung economic growth ng regions. And then, the lack of communication and cooperation in Asian countries through media. Now we are bound to the definition of globalization. Globalization is a process of interaction and integration among the people, companies, and governments of different nations around the world, a process driven by international trade and investments and aided by information technology. So the globalization is a process of which people in the world are unified into a single society and they function together. Well, let us know, how does regionalization and globalization differ from each other? Globalization are countries across the world that help each other for their own development, while regionalization are countries from a specific region that help each other for their development. In globalization, countries help each other for their own good or for their own sake, their own development, while in regionalization, regions help each other for the development of them as a whole, not just their own development. Globalization in Asia is external push by Western regions such as the United States and Europe. Globalization is inevitable and irreversible, and it will surely create economics, political, societal, and cultural transformation in the Asian region. So, globalization occurring in the Asia is an external push by the Western regions, specifically the United States and Europe. Globalization or the globalization daw ay hindi maiiwasan, and it is also irreversible. And by that, surely makaka-apekto ito sa magiging transformation or sa development ng Asian regions. Globalization might be a great help for Asian countries, but it has always challenges. It requires a lot of time for countries to receive the benefits of globalization, and it may lead to instability if not managed well. So, globalization might be a great help for Asian countries, but if it's not managed well, it may lead to instability. Although magiging maganda or magiging beneficial yung globalization sa Asian regions, nagre-require to ng maraming challenges, and of course, it will emerge from time to time. So, kinakailangan ng leader or ng mamamahala na kaya or magagawa ng solusyon yung mga problema na maaaring mag-arise. That's why high-level decision-making is also important for leaders as a global issues will emerge from time to time. There will also be increased in competition on the economic market, which will affect wages, labor rights, employment, and that is why kailangan magaling or maalam sa decision making yung mga leaders in order for the regions to handle the issues that will emerge properly para na rin masolusyonan yung mga issues na yon nang hindi maglilid sa kanila sa instability or maglilid sa pag-stop ng development ng regions. Kumbaga, kailangan ma-handle ng maayos o mabuti yung mga problems na mag-a-arise para maging maayos yung flow or yung process ng globalization. And that would be all for the Unit 7 Asian Regionalism.